I mean, we need to understand whatsoever is not of faith is sin. Paul describing that in Romans or 1 Corinthians chapter 8 when he describes knowledge concerning idols. We know we all have knowledge, but knowledge puffs up, but charity edifies. What is he talking about? He's talking about the one who is strong in the faith that has knowledge that there's only one God. He says he eats meat offered to an idol, but the one weak in faith sees him do that, and he doesn't have that same knowledge, so that when he eats the meat offered to the idol, he eats it with conscience to the idol, and his conscience is just defiled. And his conscience is defiled. I mean, we need to understand what Paul is teaching concerning whatsoever is not of faith is sin. Because it certainly isn't what people have made it out to be. Because as Titus said, to the pure all things are pure, but to the defiled and unbelieving nothing is pure, but even their mind and their conscience are defiled. He's talking about meats and drinking wine. I mean, and this is what Paul is getting at in 1 Timothy chapter 4, you know, that concerning those giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, forbidding to marry and teaching to abstain from meats. He says, which are good and to be received with thanksgiving from God by those who believe and know the truth. What truth? The truth that makes us free, that Jesus said in John 8:31 through 36, if we continue in his word, in his teachings, his sayings, we will know the truth, and the truth will make us free. Well, the Apostle Paul in 1 Timothy 3:7 said, some are ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth that makes us free. The writer of Hebrews says if we willfully sin after we receive the knowledge of the truth, there remains no more sacrifice for sin in chapter 10, verse 26. So we need to understand whatsoever is not of faith is sin. And the law is not of faith, Paul says. You know, and you see this in the example of Jesus healing the lame man by the pool of Bethesda in John chapter 5. It was on the Sabbath day that he healed him and commanded him to pick up his bed and walk with it, which was a stonable offense. The Jews got him to set it back down. Jesus found him later in the temple and he said, look, you're made whole, go and sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon you. He's talking about the unclean spirit that was cast out of him, that held him in bondage all those years, coming back in with other spirits.